when I hear the word distributive, what do you hear? Distributive property. What word do you hear? What base word? Distributive. Distribute. And when we distribute something, what are we doing? What does it mean to distribute things?
To give out.
To give out, to put into parts, or to share. Okay? That's what we're going to be doing with numbers today. We're going to be taking a whole number, such as 15, and we're going to break it down into 10 plus 5. Okay? On a much larger scale, but that gives you an insight onto what we're doing. The purpose for today's assignment is to help us see how we can break numbers down to make life easier. Okay? What are some secrets that we can start to understand about breaking apart numbers to make multiplication of larger numbers much easier? Okay? So, when we talk about the distributive property, if you look across the top of your page, we're still going to be dealing with, as we work through this, some larger numbers and some smaller numbers. Okay? Sometimes it's asking us to find a product, which is what is the product? Answer to multiplication, and sometimes it's not. So we really have to pay attention to what the problem is asking us to do. So, to start off, let's look at the example across the top of your page. Okay? It's telling you, it's giving you a shape, and it's telling you basically, if I have an entire big shape, I can break that into smaller parts. And if you're looking at the picture, it's going to be much easier for you to understand what I'm saying. Whenever we look at the whole picture to the left, the first one, they're telling us the top is 8 and the left side is 6. Does everybody see that?
Yep.
Okay. Do you see at the bottom part of that shape how they broke it up into 10 and 8? Okay. If you take what we learned in the last chapter, I know that opposite sides of a rectangle are the same, right?
Yeah.
So does it matter if I write that this side of the rectangle is 18 and that this side is 10 and 8? No, it's not going to matter. Okay? This is what they're trying to get you to understand in this lesson. Okay? Yes, if this side is 6, okay, and if I think just area, okay, I know to find area of a rectangle, I have to do what then? Length times width. Okay? I need a different marker. This is starting to move on. That's lovely. Time out for just a moment. Maybe I do need the blue one. There should be some in my top drawer that I bought this morning too. Top left. Okay, so if I'm going to find the area of this rectangle, I can do it by taking 6, which is my whole length, times 18, which is my whole width, right? So I can write 6 times 18. But how many of us know very quickly what 6 times 18 is? We don't, do we? Okay? What they want us to see in the distributive property is, I can also write that as 6 times 10 plus 6 times 8. Understanding the 10 here and the 8 here is how they get 18. I broke it into a section of 10 and a section of 8 versus multiplying it all at once. I'm going to multiply it in 2 sections and add it together. Okay? Section 1, 6 times 10. Section 2, 6 times 8. Almost like they're taking it and breaking it to an irregular shape where we had to add shape 1 plus shape 2. Okay? That's what they did. But we could easily take 6 times 10, right? 60. And we could easily take 6 times 8. And it's much easier for me to add 60 plus 48 than it is for me to take 6 times 18. Okay? With this example, what they're trying to get you to see is how, by the picture that they're representing, how part is in yellow and part is in green, I still have a whole side of 18. Just to prove that to you, let's take 6 times 18. Has anyone done that? If I took 18 times 6, I would get 108. That's the same thing I got when I broke it into 2 sections using 18 as 10 plus 8. You have to understand that I can write 18 as 10 plus 8. Okay? Alright, let's look at another one. If I have, this time we're going to think larger scale numbers. If I have 12 times 308, okay? It's a pretty big multiplication problem, right? Okay. What they want us to learn and what they want us to be able to do is learn how to look at these numbers a little bit differently. Okay, that's fine. Okay, when I look at 308, I want you to understand, focus on me, not that situation. Okay, I want you to understand that that can be 300 plus 8. That still gives me 308, right? Okay, if I multiply 12 times 308, I'm just going to do that real quick out to the side to show you something. 16, 1, 2 plus 1 is, or that's a 0, so that's a 1, that's a 6. Put my placeholder 0, cross out my 2, 8, 0, 3. I would get 3,696 if I multiplied 12 times 308. What I want you to understand, I can multiply 12 times 300 and then 12 times 8 and add those two products together and I'll get the same answer. Okay? So, 12 times 300. I know how to multiply when I have zeros, right? What's 12 times 3? 36. Add 2 zeros. 12 times 300 is 3,600. I know 12 times 8 because that's a basic math fact.
Yep.
12 times 8 is?
9.
Add those two. Same answer. Okay? All I'm doing is distributing the the 12 to the 300 and the 12 to the 8. So I'm taking that large number of 308. I'm trying to think, how can I make that easier? How can I make that into numbers that I know how to multiply? 300 plus 8 is the same thing as 308. Now I have to distribute the 12 to the 300 and the 12 to the 8. Add those two products.
Is that all we have to do?
Yes, but this is the process. I want to show you what it's going to look like when we have parentheses involved. Okay? Same thing. I'm just going to put a parenthesis around certain things to show you those are the numbers that I have to distribute to. Okay? Does that part make sense to you? So here's what I want you to do very quickly. If I gave you a problem that was 509 times 11, show me what you would break that into. Very quick quickly. Okay, I would break this into 500 plus 9. Okay, here's where my parentheses are going to come in. That number I broke down, some of you are getting lost here. Focus, 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 focus. This number that I broke down, how I took 509 into 500 plus 9, some of you are still lost. How I went from 509 to 500 plus 9, that's the part I put in parentheses. Okay? Then I'm going to put my times 11 out to the side. Distributive properties. Here's where I distribute. 11 times 9. 11 times 500. Then I add, right?
That's just
5,599. That was much faster than trying to take 509 times 11, right? Okay? So, here's a quick example of what I want your homework to look like. You're going to be presented with a problem that looks like this. Okay? Here's what you have to do. I want this step by step, so if you need to come back to this video or if you want to write it on paper right now so that you have a reference sheet to look back at when you do your homework, that would be a good thing to do. Here's my problem. 7 times 86. What you have to write on your board when you solve this problem. You're writing 7, the number that you break down. You're going to put it in parentheses. What would I break 86 down into? 80 plus 6. You have to write it in parentheses like that. Okay? Then you have to show me that you understand, Paul, that this means 7 times 80 and 7 times 6. I distribute the 7 to the 80. I distribute the 7 to the 6. Okay? 7 times 8 is 56. Plus the 0 gives me 560. 7 times 6 is
42.
I have to add my products because that's what my sign tells me to do. $602. Okay? This is a much easier way to look at numbers, realize that we can break them into parts. I can add those parts together at the end and I still get the same answer. Okay? Yes, I want to see it go from this step 1 to this step 2 to this step 3, step 4. Your final answer will be step 5. So every problem is going to take up 5 lines on your notebook paper. Okay? This is very important because tomorrow we're going to get into order of operations. Okay? Ben, it's not hard. There are rules we follow, but if you get into this habit of writing these steps first, it's going to make your life much easier. Okay? So, 5 steps to each problem. You're writing the problem, showing me how you break it up with parentheses. Solving each set that you distribute, the number outside the... Here's one other thing I want to tell you before I run out of time. Pay attention, I have 3 seconds. A number outside of my parentheses